Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. And today Nutmeg and I are going to give you a tour of what the garden looks like. It is the end of April. I wanted to get this video filmed sooner, but last week we had a really terrible storm that actually ripped up a lot of the plants in the garden. So it doesn't look as nice as it did before the storm, but hopefully you can bear with me because things are starting to come in and they are recovering and looking a bit better, and you can kind of see the vision that I have for the garden in the next couple of months. So without further ado, let's get to it. So first up here is my pepper bed. My blue salvia here is really taking over. It is much bigger than I thought it would be. I honestly might have to trim it back a little bit because I'm trying to sprout pepper seeds here. So we'll see. I also have chives, this Merlot lettuce, which is going to go because we ate some and it was really quite bitter. So I've been trying to chop off whatever has been bolting, but it's too late. We also have obviously some peppers. I have more seeds that I'm trying to sprout, but just a few. They're growing really well. Some sweet alyssum. I have arugula that is still going. I know it looks really weird, but it has been bolting, and basically every few days I come out and cut off the flowers. And let me see. Oh, I also transplanted some leeks in here. So I have leeks all throughout the garden, and they were a little shocked at first, but they seem to be doing really well now. So once I get the arugula out of here, I'm gonna put in the rest of the peppers. I'll have the leeks and just some flowers here and there. Next, this is my blackberry bed. So I have two different types of blackberries. They are both thornless and they are self-pollinating, which was really important to me. I also have a pink salvia here, which helps attract pollinators, some rue, which will attract butterflies, and then I have my peas. These are technically a winter and early spring crop, but they're still going strong. I got the green, I have the sugar magnolia purple. These are so fun. And then I have the golden sweet pea. So kind of a rainbow of peas here, but once these go away, I am gonna just probably put a cover crop or some flowers here until the fall again, and I'll put something else. Over here is my famous herb bed. It's filling in quite nicely. We've got really big parsley here. The rosemary is finally growing. The sage is doing really well. The sorrel, oregano, thyme is even growing bigger. I added a marjoram. I have some borage here that I started from seed, as well as some little nasturtiums here and there. I also have one on this side and a variegated one over here. I have to keep trimming back the parsley so that it can grow, but it's hanging in, doing okay. I did not realize just how big the parsley would get when I planted the seed, but it is what it is. And I forgot over here, this is my cayenne pepper bed. I have to remove these still. These are collard greens. They're kind of getting chewed up by caterpillars now, so it's time for them to go. And then I have a few more cayennes I'm gonna put in, sprinkled in with some flowers. Here is my beans, and then the savory I transplanted here was over there. So it didn't love being transplanted. As you can see, lost some leaves, but it's recovering now. And then I have bush beans all along here. They're all the same type, called a Kalima bush bean. And then here I have my pole beans and my soybeans. So I think the only one that has actual beans on it is this one. Yeah, and this soybean too. So I'm going to use them for edamame. As you can see, a bit torn up by the weather, but the beans themselves seem to be doing okay. And then these I started from seed recently, so if these don't make it, I do have more, and I can always plant more seeds if need be. Next to it, this is my little squash garden. So I have pumpkins here, I have 2 spaghetti squash and a butternut squash, and I'm hoping that since I planted them along the edges, I can have them grow up my trellis and fill out the rest of this bed eventually. And the other side here is my cucumbers. They're just getting long enough to start climbing up the trellis, which will be fun. I have 2 or 3 different types of, or 2. I might only have 2. No, I have 3 because I have the Boston pickling, Market More, and then the Israeli cucumber. So I have those there, as well as some nasturtiums just for some color, and some marigolds. Over here is my tomatillo bed. Let me see, I do have some. Here they are. Oh, this one's almost ready. That's fun. And this one got destroyed by the weather. Kind of got decapitated, but they're looking pretty nice. Here's my onions, which you would have seen before, but they're getting pretty thick now. Hopefully in a couple months we'll be able to harvest. And here is my zucchini. I have one that just came up from seed right here, and one that is a little bit older there. And then these are my watermelons. I have 3 orange, 2 regular red or pink, so they'll go up the trellis as well. And moving on, these are my artichokes. They're getting really big now, really nice. And the garlic, which has been here since the fall. I'm also turning the rest of this into another herb bed per se. So I have 2 lemongrass plants here. I have tarragon, and I planted some cumin seeds, and that will hopefully fill out the space. Here is supposed to be my asparagus bed. So asparagus gets along really well with some herbs. So I have cilantro, basil, parsley, and then the leftover Swiss chard, which is still growing really well. Super tall, probably like twice the height of nutmeg. And I just don't have the heart to pull it up right now. So we'll see how long it lives. It doesn't really have a lot of pests on it and is mostly doing really well. So just gonna leave it be there. Next to it, I have my kale. So I have the dinosaur kale, the white Russian, and the starburst kale, but this is mostly supposed to be a strawberry bed. So I have strawberries in here. We have one on the way. And then I have some herbs like sage and thyme and marigold just to complement it. Next to it, we have the cherry tomato bed. So these are all cherry tomatoes with some marigolds, basil, some leeks, and alyssum planted in between. I have been working on pruning the lower leaves, and we're gonna get a trellis up here really soon. Just need my husband to have time to build it. And this is kind of a mess right now, but this row is going to be parsnips. There's some onions in between. The garlic is doing really well here. Carrots, some more onions, and radishes down here. I do want to show you guys this here. So this is super cool. This is a bloom on one of my carrots. I've never seen the bloom before, so I'm just gonna let it happen because I think that looks awesome. Next to it here is my slicing tomato bed. So I do have some leeks that I just kind of threw the seeds in, and I didn't separate all of them, and I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking I might have to do that because they're just really close together and they're gonna get really thick. But I have all of the tomatoes, more of the companion plants like the basil and the marigolds, and this I have to move because it's huge. This is yarrow. It's a really good plant for pollinators. It is also about to bloom, which will be really pretty, but I need to put the rest of my tomatoes here, so this has gotta go. In this corner, I've got a compost bin as well as my grow bag of potatoes. As you can see, they're huge now, and they did just start to flower, so that means that they will be producing actual new potatoes in there soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. They should be ready in about a month or 2. lastly is my orchard row. This is a new bay laurel, which I need to put in the ground. If you watched my last plant shopping video, you would have seen me buy it then. Then I have my plum tree, which is not doing great, but hopefully it can just acclimate this year, and then we'll get plums next year. My Meyer lemon, and then my peach tree, which unfortunately lost most of its peaches, but we do have 2 which I am monitoring every day and just trying to make sure that the tree is happy enough to sustain those 2 peaches this year. Okay, that is it for our garden tour today. There have been a lot of changes since last month. If you watched my video of the garden tour last month, we put in a lot more raised beds, we put in trees, we put in those trellises behind me, and the plants are really starting to take off. They're loving the warmer weather. Freezing temperatures are far behind us now, so hopefully next month it will look even more lush and green out here. And I'm really excited to show you and give you more updates. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from me and Nutmeg. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next one.